reading comprehension and basic writing skills. კითხვა, გაგება და წერის ბაზისური უნარჩვევები. 2022 2022 წელი თ.ბაიაშვილი, м.მელაძე. Lesson 7. მეშვიდე გაკვეთილი. Family values. ოჯახური ღირებულებები. Family values involve all of the ideas of how you want to live your family life, and they are often passed down from previous generations. They can help define behavior in various situations, help youth make good choices, and strengthen the relations that your family has. Here are two people with their family stories and values. A. Professor Green, the musician, talks about his nan who brought him up and still comes to his performances, and how he has found all his happiness in relationships. If you have loving parents as a kid, you don't realize how fortunate you are. I didn't have that love from them, he says. Mom was only 16 when she had me. She and my dad split shortly after I was born. I didn't really have a relationship with him when I was growing up. He was in and out of my life. I last saw my dad alive on my 18th birthday. He killed himself 6 years later in 2008. I had to identify his body. B. Mom and dad were not able to raise me, so my maternal nan, Patricia, and great nan, Idai, brought me up. My nan did 3 jobs, and she had already raised her kids before she had the responsibility of me. She and Eddie were so kind, and they got so much pleasure from seeing me happy. There were 6 of us: Nan, her 2 sons, my mom, great Nan, and me, all living in a 2-bedroom flat on the North Wald estate in Hackney. East London. It was pretty crowded, but I had sweet time there. Nan taught me manners and modesty, and to look out for each other. She was from a different generation, where that was a big deal. C. Eddie, my great-grandmother, was a very strong, decent woman. She slept in the living room in an armchair that could be turned into a bed. She had this blue blanket that I remember clearly. I used to wake up before everyone else, and I'd climb under it, and we'd read a book to each other. I'd read a page, and then she'd read one. She taught me numeracy and how to read. She made learning really fun, and that's why I was so hardworking as a kid. Eddie died when I was 13. That really hurt. I suffered from anxiety and depression. Only my nan really understood how much I was hurting. As for my two uncles, they were good role models. They were very supportive of me. My uncle Paul is now the foreman of his own building firm after starting as a beginner, and he is the only other person in my family ever to own a house. He did the work on my new house. D. Marco Pierre White, the chef, talks about losing his mother at the age of 6. I love my mom very much and have missed her since I was a little boy. A huge part of my security was taken away from me when she died. Can you imagine I lost my mother at the age of 6? My childhood ended then. I've tried to remember all of the memories I've had of her. The summers we spent in Italy, how she always checked the fireplace for fallen birds before lighting it, how she made toys and clothes for my brothers and me. I am my mother's son, gentle and sensitive. All my life I've tried to rebuild a family, to create a family, everything that had been taken from me. E. And when you force things, they'll always break. I think about any boy who loses his mother so young. It's going to shape you in many ways, just by losing your sense of stability. You are in need of protection and suffer from great fears. And the greatest fear is not being accepted. I've spent 22 years in the kitchen. I felt comfortable and safe in that world. The reality is you bury yourself in something, your work, your passion, or another person. I buried myself in my work, which became a painkiller. You have to bottle up the emotions, solve the confusion if you wish to progress in life. I worked out how old I was when my mother died. And when my sons were the exact age, I looked at them and thought, that's how big I was when they took my mother away, to give me a true understanding of what I was. When I look at old pictures, I see my son Luciano, not me. Luciano looks identical. That's what's extraordinary, the power of a gene. F. I've learned more about myself through my children than any other experiences. By looking at them and watching them grow, you start to understand yourself. I look at my son, Luciano, and my daughter, Mirabelle, and I learn from them. But I really believe that however much you love your children, you'll harm them in some way or another. If you are overprotective, you spoil them. If you love them too much, you damage them. Anybody who thinks they are the perfect parent is a fool. All you can do is give your children great love and protect them. The only thing I want for them is to be happy. I think any father who works very hard will be considered not giving proper attention and care to children. But working hard is a form of love. Without working hard, you don't generate the cash to create the security, the privileges. You have to be realistic. I am forever creating. I build butterfly fields for my sons. I build orchards for my daughter. I build dry stone walls, create colleges. I build avenues of trees, so when I'm dead and gone, my daughter can walk down that avenue with her children.